Hello, friends. The 839th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. The military telegram channel Deep State reported yesterday that the Russian army captured Ivanivske in the Bakhmut direction. According to data from the Ukrainian side, the Russians captured part of Ivanivske and part of the Stupki tract in an area up to 1.7 kilometers wide and to a depth of 500 meters. But today the command of the Ukrainian armed forces has denied the Russians' seizure of the village. According to Ivanivske, I can say the following: the settlement belongs to Ukraine, the defense forces control the situation in this direction, said Voloshin, spokesman for the Khortytsa group. According to him, the Russians continue to attempt to storm the village. I know that Russia announced back in March that it had captured Ivanivske. However, other sources then reported that Ukrainian units still continued resistance in the southwestern part of the village. True, recently Russian telegram channels have constantly stated that Ivanivske is already under Russian control. But Ukraine, as we see, refutes this. The battles for Ivanivske have been going on since the winter of 2023. The settlement is located on the highway from Bakhmut to Konstantinivka, which runs south of Chasiv Yar and crosses the Siversky-Donetsk-Donbas Canal. Ivanivske is also important for controlling the Klishchiivka area south of Bakhmut, where the dominant heights are located, which the Russian army is now storming. As for Klishchiivka, the Ukrainian armed forces managed to knock out the enemy from a number of positions. In Chasiv Yar, battles for the Canal micro-district continue. The enemy is pressing in the direction of multi-story buildings along Koshevoho Street. The Deep State telegram channel reports that the Russians have advanced in Staromayersky on the Vremovka ledge. According to data from the Ukrainian side, enemy advances to a depth of 300 meters are recorded here. Let me remind you that the Russian Ministry of Defense announced yesterday the complete capture of this village. In the neighboring village of Yevhenii, the enemy assault group also advanced to the north up to 300 meters. Meanwhile, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced today the capture of Myasazharivka in the Luhansk region, west of Svatovi. Ukraine did not confirm this. The meat roaster on the Deep State map is marked under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces, several kilometers from the front line. At the same time, the Ukrainian telegram channel notes that Russian troops are attempting an offensive in this area. In the Pokrovsk direction, Deep State records the advance of Russian troops near Umansky and Novopokrovsky. Russian telegram channels this morning announced the complete capture of the village of Novoalexandrivka, an important defense point of the Ukrainian armed forces in the direction of the Pokrovsk-Konstantinivka highway, which Russian troops are trying to cut. Ukraine did not confirm the loss of the village. But the General Staff calls this section the most difficult. The American publication The War Zone published a satellite image of a damaged Russian Su-57 fighter at the Aktubinsk airfield. The image shows traces of a Ukrainian strike on the latest Russian fighter. As analysts from the conflict intelligence team note in their latest report, despite the fact that this aircraft does not play a significant role in the current war, its defeat is an important media victory. This is a one-off specimen, comparable to the Armata tank. The price of one Su-57, according to Western media, ranges from $35 to $54 million. About 30 criminal cases have already been opened for embezzlement of funds during the construction of fortifications. The total amount of funds involved in the proceedings is 20 billion hryvnia. Law enforcement officers presented such figures at a closed meeting of the Rada Investigative Commission on Fortification Issues, said Bondar, secretary of the Temporary Investigative Commission. He said on the sidelines of the Rada that details about these cases would be revealed at the next meeting of the commission in a week. According to Bondar, the Ministry of Defense and regional military administrations must provide information on the use of budget money for the construction of fortifications, the schedule for their construction and location. After this, deputies will plan an audit of the fortifications. Currently, about 30 criminal proceedings have already been opened for embezzlement of funds in the construction of fortifications. Members of the commission from the presidential party, Servant of the People, having heard such figures, immediately tried to protect the managers of funds. And the lion's share is the military-civil administrations. This is the vertical of the president. Next time, we must get information about each case under what article, who appears there and what amounts, Bondar said. The commander of a platoon of the Ukrainian armed forces with the call sign Diego reported a very low level of donations to the army. He said that his previous collection was a litmus test of the mood of the people in the country. People are tired of the war, very tired, said a military man who serves in the airborne assault forces. According to him, the collection, which was viewed by more than 15,000 users in less than a day, was eventually donated by only 12 people, among whom were Diego himself and his wife. This says a lot. I think legislators need to think about these statistics, how much people now believe in the army and in everything, the military man said. Separately, Diego said that in the comments to the training camp, there was a lot of criticism for the fact that he spoke Russian. To this, Diego replied that in the trenches in Donbass in the first period of the war, he practically did not see soldiers who spoke exclusively Ukrainian. Everyone spoke Russian, or a mixture of Ukrainian and Russian, but close to Russian. In your opinion, if I speak Russian, I cannot be a patriot of Ukraine. Tell that to the tens of thousands of dead guys, the military man said. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.